What's the bravest thing you have ever said? Help. Asking for help, it does not mean giving up. It's a refusal to give up. This is a dialogue from the animated film The Boy, the Boy, the Fox and the Horse by Mackie C. Charlie, which won an Oscar this year. 2 years ago, I felt like this, like a queen. A successful mind coach, a transformation trainer, with thousands of graduates, a great daughter, and wonderful mother. At least that's what my 2 children would say me every day. I was great at everything. I was invincible. Until my daughter went to a therapist. Mom, you never listen to me. Mom, you never recognize my feeling. You're always focusing on yourself. It was really hard to hear this from my 29 years old daughter. You see, at that time, I was working on my training on successful parenting, and I thought if teenage turbulence was over, all the challenges in our relationship were over too. And I wanted to share my success story as a parent. I didn't know how to react it. And I thought, oh my God, all my life, I couldn't imagine hearing such kind of things. It is like a nightmare. How could she tell me that? I gave her an excellent London education. She has everything to be happy. It's not fair. How dare she tell me that? I could never say something like this to my mom. Never, ever. My life was collapsed. My heart was broken. My self-esteem was ruined. If I am the worst mother in the world, how I can be a successful parenting trainer? You know, people are strong in a lot of kind of way. Their knowledges, their expertise, their experience, their skills, their victories. And the more strengths we show in our life, the more strength, the more invincible we feel. One day we start seeing ourselves as a superhero. But every superhero has their weak spot. Are you familiar with the Achilles? The bravest, the strongest, and moreover, the most beautiful warrior of the entire army of the ancient Greek. According to the legend, as an infant, his mother took him to the river, which was supposed to give him the power of invisibility. And she dipped him into the water. And only one weak spot on his body was his heel, by which she was holding him. Achilles was a glorious warrior, and not any single arrow could kill him. He thought he was invincible until he was hit in his heel, the only one vulnerable spot on his body. You know, that's exactly can happen to each of us, just like it happened with me when my world collapsed. You know, focusing on the strengths, maybe be aware about our strengths, it's a great idea, you know, and strengths, it's something what helps us to feel confident and fearless. Our strengths help us to react more proactively and keep our head cool. And for example, when someone asks me, how can you coach people if you have to divorce? I say, does a doctor need to be 100% healthy to be a great professional? Or do you choose a teacher based on their kids' marks at the school? I feel confident in my professional skills. And whenever somebody asks me and try to challenge them, I keep my head cool. That's my strength. But at the same time, we should be aware about our vulnerabilities. We are not invincible, you know? The vulnerability is something that triggers all different reactions based on our fears and our insecurities. Our fears to be judged, our fears to be refused, our fears to be shamed, you know? And when my daughter tell me this, I didn't know how to react it, because in one hand, I had a big mother's desire to make feel her guilty or drop her down or start victimizing myself and shaming her. But on the other hand, I realized that at the time I had to act as I preached and take to pause and try to understand her. To understand her, I had to question my own beliefs. To understand her, I had to ask my invincibility. I had to accept that I am not perfect and accept that I had a vulnerability. And my daughter's words were an indicator about my vulnerabilities. You know, it triggered a dramatic reactions, what makes me feel so a lot of emotions, from pain to fear to angry to aggression to frustration to self-pity. And now I know when I feel like this, it's my vulnerability. Yes, it sometimes makes me feel weak, yes. It's sometimes painful. But you know, this is the first point. It's just a signal to me to open up and take a deep look into myself and accept it. And you know, vulnerability, it's not so easy to show it up because we don't have any experience of it. And maybe somebody could say, we are good without this awareness about vulnerability, right? But let's look at the consequences. First, the number of suicide among children in Astana, Kazakhstan, has risen 7 times in this year. According by World Health Organization, over 700,000 people take their own life each year. Just imagine, one person in 40 seconds. What could make their lives, all those people, women, men, and almost sadly children, so unbearable? I tell you what, I know, this is loneliness. When there is no one who asks support, when there is no one who can share your feeling with, when there is no one who can understand you and guide you, when there is no one who can accept your vulnerabilities. And second one, what's more? The growing number of divorces in our country and all over the world. You know, if we're not ready to deeply open up, it's really hard to create a close, intimate relationship between us. Sincere relationship, because it's really important for us. But insincere ones just don't make sense, do they? Finally, we can observe the same trend in our society too. In our Kazakh culture, there is a notion called tuyat. there is a fear of being judged from the society parts. And yet, doesn't give us a chance to make a mistake. It doesn't give us a chance to show vulnerabilities, you know? And there is yet, it has led the fears showing vulnerabilities in our society. And it has led to cases of violence left unpunished and victim being judged and punished both from offender and society. And it's really sad. And I don't want you to see vulnerability as a weakness. What if we see vulnerability like a dynamic individuality? Why it's dynamic? Because it can be changed. For example, by recognizing our vulnerability, it gives us opportunity to decide what to do with it. And at least there is two options, you know? Option one, you can address it in therapy and develop yourself in that area. Second one, you can do nothing with it and just decide, look at this like my imperfection is my individuality. How awareness of our vulnerability can help us in everyday life? First question that concern me the most is related with to parenting, you know? If we position as parents like heroes, invincible, making no mistakes, showing no weaknesses, we deny our children to choice to make mistake, to feeling their feelings, express themselves, you know? And however, if we are self-aware and we are open about our vulnerabilities, we create the space of trust, let our children to be themselves. And raising children with the right to make mistakes opens the ways to their truly self-expression. What's the next one? If we recognize our vulnerability and we knowing ourselves and taking care, treating ourselves with care, it gives to our loved ones like a user manual. Yeah, you heard right, user manual. Why is it that when we buy washing machine, we received a detailed guide how to use it correctly, but in relationship we don't? And one more argument. You know, if we recognize our vulnerability and accept it, it gives us a chance to accept and understand that other people have them too. And it creates a space when we could negotiate of the ways how to communicate it effectively. And so I could continue this list of opportunity of vulnerability forever, but I would like to tell you about this something you need to have in your head, because everything in our life has a price and benefit, you know? In my training, I always say to participants about everything has two sides, benefits and price. Benefits is what we get, and price is what we pay for the benefits. So vulnerability, it has their price, you know, and you need to remember about it. I'm good at navigated through the crisis in my relationship with my daughter, and we reached some new level in our relationships, and it happened only after I recognize and accept my own vulnerabilities. And this is a benefit because our relationship getting better. But there is a price. You know, I have recently returned from my vacation, and I spent this vacation with my daughter. And we haven't been in the vacation together for 4 years. And it was a good idea to check our relationship. And you know, it wasn't easy. We are still in the process. And we still have our difficulties. And every time we have an argument, I have to work with my emotions and my reactions. And this is a price. Sometimes it's really painful. And I suppose this process is endless as long as we're alive. It means manifestation and acceptance our true each other's emotions. But there is a good news. Each time it's happened easier for me. And it's easier to me to remain open and not run into invincibility or guilty. Focusing on my purpose in my relationship with my children allows me to go through my inner mother desire to be right mother. Sometimes I give up. Sometimes I thought maybe I choose the wrong direction. Maybe I shouldn't change the Eastern way to build family relationships. But what helps me to continue it, it's my commitment to truly and really intimate relationship with my children, when they could express their emotions and receive the understanding. And if I have an opportunity to live these last 2 years again, I say you for sure, I will choose the same way, the path of vulnerability. Because I believe it's worth it. And vulnerability is a key for truly intimate and close relationships. And I don't want these words associated with a weakness, because choosing this way will require from you two hardly compatible qualities, courage and sensitivity at the same time. It is not easy path, but definitely rewarding. Thank you.